Animated theatre for children, therefore, is akin to a psychological catalyst. A culture's collective mythology helps convey belonging, shared and religious experience, behavioral models, underlying moral and practical lessons. The 19th century Sanskritist Max Muller supported an allegorical theory of myth. He believed myths began as allegorical descriptions of nature, but gradually came to be interpreted literally. For example, a poetic description of the sea as raging was eventually taken literally, and the sea was then thought of a raging god. Personification is described as myopoic thought, as some scholars believe myths resulted from the personification of inanimate objects and forces. These thinkers believe the ancients worshipped natural phenomena such as fire and air, gradually coming to describe them as gods. For example, according to the theory of myopoic thought, the ancients tended to view things as persons, not as mere objects. Thus, they described natural events as acts of personal gods, thus giving rise to myths. Many 20th century theories of myth rejected the 19th century theories' opposition of myth and science. In general, 20th century theories have tended to see myth as almost anything but an outdated counterpart to science. Consequently, moderns are not obliged to abandon myth for science. The third eye spectrum. Christopher C. Doyle, in his view as an author on his book, published November 1st, 2013, The Mahabharata Secret, has interpreted India's mythological heritage in the Mahabharata through the eyes of science. This was something that he discovered many Indians believe is highly possible. In reference to science and technology in the context of the Mahabharata, Doyle emphasized that he did not subscribe to some of the widely speculative conspiracy theories about the Mahabharatas, which, far from being grounded in scientific fact, are more in the realm of fantasy. However, Doyle claims that both the Mahabharata and the Mahabharata Secret seek to inform readers of the inherent nature of technology and science as a double-edged sword. While advances in science benefit humanity and make life more comfortable, there is a darker side to technology as well, one that can be molded and used to fit the purposes of people with evil intentions. Even an ancient script from the Mahabharata can be used in modern times to threaten the world, and that is something we need to be aware of and prepared for. Myth and puppet theatre and all other forms of animated theatre are synonymous mediators, intervening in a powerful contribution to educate, inspire, and motivate. Likened to parables and myths, dramatization of a myth through imagery and variations of puppet theatre and other animated forms of theatre transport its viewers into another world, which, as we have observed, act as a catalyst of our own emotions and psychological responses, a mirror of our own secret fears and joys, dreams and nightmares. Animation of inanimate figures and imagery stimulate cognitive perception, excite wonder, and most importantly, is likely to arouse curiosity within probing adolescent minds with an urge to know more and rediscover the truth within. For thousands of years, Indian mythology has been so intricately woven within the culture, traditions, rituals, and religious spiritual beliefs of its people, so as to create a unique and wondrous tapestry of life itself. An interesting excerpt from Ayn Rand's The Romantic Manifesto, Art and Cognition, aptly says, a man's pseudo-epistemological method of functioning is developed and automized in his early childhood. It is influenced by the dominant philosophy of the culture in which he grows up. If explicitly or implicitly, through the general emotional attitude, a child grasps that the pursuit of knowledge, that is, the independent work of the cognitive faculty, is important and required of him by his nature, he is likely to develop an active, independent mind. If he is taught passivity, blind obedience, fear, and the futility of questioning and knowing, he is likely to grow up as a hopeless savage, whether in the jungle or in New York City. It is hoped that this study will reveal profound reflections on myth and how down the ages, particularly in the Indian subcontinent, have become an integral part of our life in India's diverse culture and spiritual beliefs, with powerful impact on education and elicitation of a psychological catalyst. Thank you, all my friends and colleagues present here today. Thank you very much.